Welcome back to Mr. Hahn's tutorials on designing a CO2 dragster in Google SketchUp. Our next step that we are on is step 2 in this model. It's the fourth video here. And what we're going to be doing is cutting the axle holes out of our CO2 dragster model. So again, we're going to follow through this here. I'm going to go through and double click on my car to get inside of it with the select tool again, get the dotted lines going around. This is the most important step. I'm going to go camera, standard views, front. Okay, some of the specifications here. The axles have to be 7 millimeters off the bottom of the car, and they have to be between 9 and 50 from the front and the back of the car. So I'm going to click on the tape measure tool. Again, line up with the midpoint of the bottom line here. So just start on the bottom line with the cursor and slide it over until it hits midpoint. Click one time there and drag it up, place it, come down into measurements and type 7 and hit enter. So now I have a line 7 millimeters off the bottom of the car. I need to get a line from the back of the car as well, so I'm going to come down to the midpoint again, click, I can drag it forward and see about where I like it. I can look in the measurements over there and kind of drop it. I just think I want to go here. You don't want to go right next to the back if you have some kind of arc cut off the back or something like that. So I'm going to go about up here, and that's at 43.4, so I'm going to lock it in at 40 and hit enter. It can be anywhere between 9 and 50. Same thing on the front of my car. I'm going to go to the midpoint on the front, bringing it back, and thinking about what my car design is going to look like. If I need to go back further or closer here, I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to go 9 with the front of my car. So these are just the center points of the axle holes. Now I'm going to draw the axle holes, which is very different than drawing the wheels. So I'm going to draw a circle, and the axle hole drill bit that we use is 4 millimeters in diameter. So I'm going to go on the back axle hole, click on the center point one time on the intersection of these two guidelines. And I'm going to pull it really big right now. That diameter is 4, and it's asking me for a radius. My radius then, if the diameter is 4, is 2. Hit enter. And it should shrink down. Same thing on the front. So I'm going to click and drag, pull it out, drop it, and go down here and type 2 and hit enter. So I have my front and my back axle locations there. Now I'm going to go to ISO. So I'm going to go to standard views and flip to ISO. This is where we have to be pretty accurate with our push-pull. We're going to zoom in on the front of the car just by rolling the mouse wheel in, and I need to be able to select just the center of that. If I click the center of it and dragging it back out the back of my car, if I get too far, it's going to come right out the back. I need it perfectly lined up with the back edge of this car. So what I need to do is move my cursor over one of the edges. And you can see how it's got this dotted line. Sometimes I like to go right to a corner and lock it there for sure, and let it drop. And you can see now I have a hole through. I'm going to do the same thing to the back of the car. To the back of the car, it's a little bit trickier. I want to rotate around to the back so I can see a back edge here real easy. So I can click there, and if I keep going and get to this back edge, you'll see it snap to it. Now I'm snapped to the back edge and place it. And I should see my two axle holes through. So I have my rear axle hole and my front axle hole. And that concludes step 2.